So it's something that is in a lot of the food we eat. It's a common food preservative called sodium nitrate. But, and this is concerning, more and more Canadians are dying after intentionally ingesting unsafe quantities of it, actually poisoning themselves. So doctors are calling for tighter regulation. Let's find out more. Tyler Hickey is a forensic pathologist for the province of Ontario, also an assistant professor at the University of Toronto. Thank you so much for your time today, Tyler.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with what exactly is sodium nitrate? What is it found and where is it found?
Right. So there's two different types of salts which have come up as substances of interest. One is called sodium nitrate. The other called sodium nitrite. So an A versus an I. But they are both, to my knowledge, and I've only learned about them more recently, generally used in food preservatives. For example, meat and fish. There are some laboratory uses for them. But more recently, they've been sort of latched onto within suicide support groups as being a recommended way that you can, unfortunately, very quickly kill yourself if you take them in their pure form.
So people are not, it's not that they're overeating the stuff that it is found in, it's that they're specifically finding it in the purest of its forms and using that to end their lives.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anyone eating, for example, a preserved meat and getting sick to the point where their life is at risk. All of the cases that I've researched that have caused death are people that are actually just taking pure salt, mixing it with some water, and then drinking that down.
Okay, so they're creating their own sodium nitrite, essentially.
Yeah, their own sort of deadly concoction drink, if you will.
Okay, I want to go back and understand this because I don't think I do. The idea is you could take just regular table salt and mix it.
No,
What are you taking
no.
here?
So yeah, so that's an important differentiation. So table salt is sodium chloride, safe. We all use it. These other substances you would not routinely encounter in a grocery store or something like that. So it's sodium nitrite or sodium nitrate in their specific compounds that can be, deadly in their pure form,
So then,
and not easily accessed for the average person.
where do they access them then?
Right. So I think regulations are coming online now, but up until recently, you could go on Amazon, eBay, maybe even place an order with a chemical supplier and just buy them as like a bottle or a package.
But ordinarily, you'd be doing that if you were going to add it to something you were making, I guess, as a processed food item, right? I mean, that'd be the reason you'd ordinarily buy it?
I think so, yeah. And this gets into, I'm not sure how many people are taking steps to preserve their own meats and that, but I think it would be within a group of people that have some actual knowledge on how to do this safely. But what's been happening is people are not using it for any sort of meat use, but just unfortunately for the purpose of ending their life.
Do you have any idea how this started? Like, where would someone get this kind of idea?
So in my research, I have found that there are some actual written books and online forums that are sort of pro-suicide, if you will. So people that, I guess, recognize that if you want to end your life, you ought to be able to do it in a predictable and sort of manner. And so there are places that there's actual descriptions on how to go about accessing these things and recommendations for how much to use, and even taking some other maybe pills at the same time to help you digest these salts quickly.
Jeez. Okay.
So you were lead author on a study on these poisoning deaths in 2019 and 2020. Are you part of the people calling? I know we said doctors. You're an assistant professor. Are you part of those calling for tighter regulation of sodium nitrite?
Well, I think that would be totally fair, and it's like everything, usually some level of research on the pros and cons of any, I think, government-level decision would be important. I think what I've been able to show is that these salts are being used by people to end their lives, and on that reason alone, I think it would be an important question as to whether, we need to restrict access to these people, to these drugs, for the average person.
Is someone paying attention to this, or are governments not aware of this? What's going on with respect to how common this is and how many people actually know about this?
Well, I think speaking to you today, CTV covered the research yesterday, and I have been in touch, albeit briefly, with someone at Health Canada, and it is a topic I know they're looking into. I don't know what answers or actions they may have planned, so.
I'm not sure this is a fair question to ask, and Natasha kind of asked it off the top. I mean, this item is approved. It is in foods that we eat, obviously in much, much smaller quantities. Is there some concern that if you live on this kind of food every single day, it's not good for you? It may won't kill you, but it's certainly not good for you?
I'm not sure I'd go that far. And again, I don't know of any concern or risk to people that are eating naturally like preserved meats that you might get in a grocery store. I don't think it wouldn't be appropriate to create any fear for the average consumer.
Fair enough.
All these deaths have been people that have specifically sourced pure versions of these salts and then consume them in their pure state, and that's where you get in trouble.
So, and a very, very deliberately, yes. So, what would you like in terms of regulation, at least for online regulation, so that you can't just buy it off Amazon, for example?
Yeah, I think there's any number of chemicals that exist that the average person can't just purchase. Things that may be used to cause explosions or other funny things. There's restrictions that you maybe have to run a accredited laboratory, or maybe you're licensed as a food producer, things like this. And I don't see any reason why some system couldn't be set up where people need some level of accreditation to access these particular chemicals.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't think either one of us had ever heard of anything like this, right?
No.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Mr. Hickey. Much appreciated.
Aaron, Natasha, thank you very much.
All right.
It's a pleasure.